Today, we find the seeds planted by the pre-Socratics have blossomed into a full tree. The questions the pre-Socratics posed about the ultimate reality are still being asked. Scientists are still looking for the most basic building block of physical reality. Others have proposed that the core of reality is God, or truth. Every generation, every person should ask the question and formulate an answer. But asking about the ultimate reality isn't the only philosophical concern. Before we begin, let me caution you that every philosophy textbook presents the branches of philosophy a little differently, but the general ideas are the same. Let's take a look at the way Palmer, the author of Does the Sinner Hold, presents the philosophical tree. Today, philosophy has three main branches: epistemology, ontology, and axiology. Epistemology is the study of knowledge. Epistemological questions include: what is knowledge? How is knowledge different from opinion or faith? Do different cultures have different models of knowledge? Do women have a different model for knowledge than men? Included in epistemology is logic, which seeks to distinguish between effective and ineffective thinking. Have you taken a composition class or a public speaking class? If you have, you probably studied fallacies. Fallacies are mistakes in thinking. If you have never heard of fallacies, do a quick web search for logical fallacies. While you're at it, look up syllogisms. Next, we have ontology and metaphysics. While many philosophers make a distinction between ontology and metaphysics, for simplicity, we will say they are more or less the same thing. If you are interested in the distinction, point your web browser to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy and do a search for metaphysics. Anyway, ontology and metaphysics study the nature and structure of reality. Ontological questions include: what is real and what is illusion? How do we tell the difference? What is reality made of? Is reality physical? Is reality mental? Is it both? Is it, as Anaximander would have it, made out of some nameless stuff? Questions about God's existence and the existence of the human soul and related religious issues are included in this branch of philosophy. Asking questions about religion is often called theology, or the philosophy of religion. Then there's the question of artificial intelligence, a question our culture finds fascinating, as can be seen in the number of movies about cyborgs and robots like Terminator, The Matrix, I, Robot. Can you think of more? Finally, axiology is the study of values. It includes ethics, social and political philosophy, and aesthetics. Let's look at each of these. Ethics is the study of morality, of right and wrong. Ethics concerns establishing and applying moral principles. Social and political philosophy examine questions of justice, fairness, distribution of goods and services, and duties in groups. It also asks what powers are legitimately used by the government and about what authorized the government to use any power in the first place. Aesthetics is also known as philosophy of art. To start with, it asks what art is in the first place. It asks questions about the function and role of art. We'll examine each of the major branches: epistemology, ontology, and axiology. Still, this class is an introduction to philosophy, so we will not study these branches comprehensively. We'll establish the basics and examine some of the influential ideas and arguments in each branch to prepare you for a lifelong search for wisdom. Philosophy isn't something you learn. It is something you practice. It isn't something you find. It is something you search for. Socrates understood that. But before I tell you about that rock star of a philosopher, take some time to examine Palmer's presentation of philosophy's branches in Chapter 1 of your textbook.